Harper was driving her car to school, but she made a detour to pick up her best friend, Nova. Nova was actually had her own car, but unfortunately it was in a car shop for the time for some repairs. And so Harper had offered to drive both herself and her friend to school, even though it meant that she had to take a small detour. But Noah said that she didn't mind to being picked up by her best friend, even though they always get always in time to school. And this morning it was nothing like any usual. They had just left Noah's house. You know, this week actually will be great, said Noah with a smile. Yeah, I'm right now. I mean, this new movie is coming out, and I'm actually looking forward to see it. Yeah, same here. I mean, Sonic 2 is probably the best movie so far. Yeah, both Nova and Harper was big Sonic fans. They had been watched the first movie when it came out, and they had been very excited when it had announced the sequel. And now it was going to be premiered on the movie theaters, and they're so excited. They wanted to have been seeing it for a long time. I'm sorry if my car isn't working myself. Yeah, but I mean, it better have professionals worked on it, and then yourself. Yeah, you're right about that, said Noah with a smile. They arrived at school and they just went to the lockers to get ready for first class. So, what's your first class today? Asked Noah. I have, let's see. Oh, history. What about you? Math. You know that you're probably not even good at math. Hey, well, yeah, fair point. I mean, you're right, I'm not even good at math at all, but you know, I can always help you with math, said Harper. Harper was actually, among many students at the school, was working as a private tutor to those students who needed help. And for that, Harper has been beloved by all staff and the other students. Hey girls! They both turned around and saw Ben. Ben was a popular soccer player at school. In fact, he was a team leader of the soccer team. Oh, hey Ben, what are you doing here? You know, talk to the beautiful girl at school. You know, Ben, we're getting ready for first class. Oh, well, perhaps in your lunchtime? Probably, said Harper, and they walked away. You know that Ben have a crush on you, right? Don't tell me about it. I know. You have been trying to ask me out numerous times, but I always turn him down, but he doesn't get it. Have you tried to tell him? Yeah, I told him that like a dozen times, but he still doesn't get it. Boys, right? Said Nova. Yeah, right. Well, you should probably get going, and same here. Yeah, see you lunch? Yeah. So Nova actually went to her class and Harper to her own class. And during this particular class, though, nothing is much big happened, except that the teacher announcing there's going to be a big history class or history test. She was actually very good in history. In fact, history was one of her top favorite subjects in the school. But some of the students was like, "Come on, teacher, really? A history test? Like, we're in the middle of the semester already." "Yes, but I need to see how much you actually remembered from the past half of the year's tests or lessons." "Is this gonna be part of our any grades?" asked a student. "Nope. This is just a normal test to see how much you remembers." Probably Harper will get the highest score, as always," said one of the students. Harper was actually some of the best students within history, English, and biology. "But I don't mind to read about history. I mean, history is always a good thing to learn." "Has says a bookworm," said one of the students. Even though being called bookworm usually would someone get mad, but Harper didn't mind being called bookworm. After all, she spent sometimes her free time studying or just reading. But When is this test? Asked Harper, the teacher. It will be on Friday. Ah, afternoon, around 2 p.m. Oh, alright. So after the first class, she went to different others first until lunchtime. She arrived at the cafeteria and just walked down and went to grab something that had to eat and went to the table. Harper saw that Noah was already there waiting for her. So, how was the class? The usual. And we're just gonna have a history test this Friday. A history test? Let me guess. Part of the grades? Nope, not this time. Oh. Yeah, the teacher just wanted to see how much the other students in the class remembers his classes. You probably won't even have any problems, said Nova with a smile. Yeah, I'm right, she said with a chuckle. I don't mind about reading about history. So, by the way, how did your classes went? As usual. Math, like I said, math is not my strong subject, said Nova with a little bit of a grin. You probably can teach me a bit more of math, do you? Sure. But before they could even say anything else, hey ladies, mind would you be joining? They both turned around and saw Ben and David. David was another part of the soccer team, although he was Ben's best friend. Sure, sit down. Even though Harper felt almost a grin when he sat down next to her and they started talking. I heard that there's gonna be this big history test, and I'm pretty sure you will get the high score. Yeah, history isn't that tough, to be honest. Really? Said David. I believe I can barely understand any of the bad history, and I don't understand why they even have that. Past events, since there's nothing that been affecting us. But Harper took that a little bit as a little bit offensive. David. What? I'm just saying the truth though. Many say that, yes, this might be true. But as it said, if you don't understand your own past, how would you predict or understand the future? If we never actually had been recording our own past, how would we even remember the past experience, how that will even help us in front of our future? Like, if we never had anything that recorded our history, how would we understand that without the writing system or anything, like, if anyone hasn't even invented the wheel, there would not have been cars, and if the brother Wrights never invented a plane, there wouldn't have been planes. Think about it. David rolled his eyes and said, Yeah, as always. I don't even care about that, he said. Harper didn't mind, but no one just said, just don't bother. Yeah. They all just continued their lunch together, just small talking. But before then, Ben asked Harper, Hey, do you have any plans on Friday? Not really, I don't think so. Except for the test. How about you and I go out? To the movies, maybe? Or we're gonna have something to eat on Friday? I don't know. I don't know if my parents had me to help me with something after school. But I will let you know, though. Great. Hope whenever you have the time. Do you honestly gonna even go out with him? No, never. He doesn't get it, and he then skull over his. And that made Noah chuckle a bit. Yeah. How about could you even consider them dating him? No way. Never in my life. How about you and David? Me and David? Don't even try, said Nova. They both just had a good time and actually enjoyed the rest of the day, and a few days later was a Friday. Nova said that she will be waiting outside for her to around 2 p.m. since the test is going to be taken last for about an hour. And there's only like 20 students in the classroom. And shortly after that was taking place, sure enough, Harper got 100% right. Well, the average get maybe 80 or maybe it's 90%. So where'd they go? 100%? As always, said Nova. Yeah. Um, you want me to drive you home? Yeah, sure. And so the driver, she drove Nova home, and then she got herself home. And sure enough, just after she got home, she was told by her parents that she and her mom is going to the store to get some grocery store. Okay, um, yeah, sure, I can do that. And then she texted Ben, just saying that she can't meeting up since she is going to help her mom with some grocery shopping. He said, "Oh, fine, that's fine, maybe next time." But she never actually had intention to ever going out with him, because there was one thing that no one didn't know, not even Nova, that Harper, she was a lesbian. She was really a lesbian. Well, the only ones that did know about this were her parents, and they were actually supportive. And by the next week, this weekend, Harper and Noah, they actually went to see this new Sonic movie along with a friend, Zoe. Zoe, Zoe was another friend of Harper. They actually had a great time. They laughed, and even afterwards they talked about how stupid Dr. Eggman could have been. He never really doesn't learn anything. And how to see how Knuckles was easy to manipulate by Dr. Eggman to make him believe almost anything. But, Knuckles isn't even that bad character, said Harper. Yeah, said Zoe. I mean, he's easily being manipulated. As if, said Nova. They actually went to a small cafe afterwards to grab something to eat before they all drove home. But at home, Harper realized that when she came home, she was alone. So she didn't mind. She just went to her room, do some homeworks, and just watch some TV. By the end of the week, by the next week, when Harper was standing by her locker by herself, since Noah had to be using the restroom first, when she heard a voice behind her. "Oh, hey, Harper." She realized it was Ben. And when she turned around, sure enough, who was standing behind her? It's Ben. "Hi, Ben. What's up?" Nothing much. Just asking if you want to go out with me." But then she realized she had been telling the same thing. Ben, I've been telling you, I'm not interested in going out with you." You just say that to just be polite. "No, I'm honest." "You're not my type," he said a little bit angrily. "How many times do you have to keep asking me? I'm always saying no to you. Do you expect me one day to say yes, but I will never do that?" His smile almost turned into a frown, almost an angry. "How dare you?" "How dare I? I'm not honest here, Ben. And how I thought you really would have understand by this point already. Think about it. You have been keep asking me for almost a half of a school year, and every single time I said no. I'm not interested in you. And how do you not understand that?" And Ben just then made a little bit of some huff and a turnaround and walked away. And Noah saw it happen, like when he walked off a little bit angry. "Whoa, what about Ben?" she asked and pointed out after him. Guess." Then she realized, and now he really understands. "Yeah, wow. Talking but really understand it takes some time to understand it," said Noah. "Yeah, you know, Harper, there is one thing I want to talk to you." "Oh, what is it?" Can we talk about maybe after school?" Yeah, sure, I don't mind." The rest of the school day, Harper was curious what is it that Noah wanted to talk to her about. Was it something about school, or was it about Ben, or was it something about something else? Maybe that perhaps that Noah had a secret admirer herself. But in the car while she was driving home, when Harper was driving her home, "Well, what is it that you want to talk about?" When they were standing in this intersection, just before Noah's house. You know, for the past 2 years since we left middle school and now in our first year in high school, um, I don't know how to say this, but you can tell me anything. You know that. You're my best friend of all. I have a crush on someone. Oh, really? Who? Let me guess. David? Hey! I'm just only messing around with you, Harp Nova. But please, you can tell me who it is. You promise not be mad or shocked? Yeah. She thought, for please, no, don't please it not have to be Ben. But it wasn't. When Noah said it was actually her, that she had her crush on her own best friend, Harper. Harper was really surprised. Wait, are you serious? She asked. Mm-hmm. But I understand that you're not into girls or anything. If I had been telling it honest here, I actually am. Wait, what? Yeah, you see, I'm actually a lesbian. I have been since around the last year, middle school actually. So you have been a lesbian for 2 years and never told me? I mean, I'm your best friend. Yeah, the reason is why I never told you is that I never didn't know how to react. I mean, I didn't want to be telling you. I don't know how you were, if you would accept that or how it would really affect our friendship. I didn't want to lose that. Ah, I see, said Noah. But, I don't mind if you have a crush on me though. If you want, we could try being dating if you want. Noah's eyes got seriously big and she looked at her friend and was like, wait, are you for real? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why not? So they decided to go on their first official date this particular Saturday, and they decided to go out to have a picnic. And their first date actually went so great for them. But they decided not to be as official after just one date. Because even though there seems to be a spark between them, but unfortunately what they didn't expect, that they would eventually then end up being dating officially after nearly 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, they made it official. But they never told anyone else except for Zoe, who kept it a secret. But somehow, it eventually came out the whole school. And everyone was actually very supportive to Harper and Noah. I mean, the school was actually very supportive to embrace acceptance to the LGBTQ community. They weren't being accepting gays, bisexual, and lesbians, and even straight people. And one day, when just after the 3 weeks after they had been officially, just a day after they had came out to officially a school, Harper was standing by her locker just herself when she heard a voice behind her. So, this is the reason why you don't want to date me. It's because you're a lesbian, isn't it? She realized it was Ben, and based on the tone, he was really mad. But she turned around, tried to smile, and said, Ben, yes, that is the reason why. You could at least have told me. Do you even expect me to believe that? Did you even expect me to believe if I told you? No. Why? Well, the reason is why I didn't tell you that, because you wouldn't even believe me otherwise. And I'm right about it. How dare you? I put so much time to even want to spend time with you. But you rejected me. First of all, Ben, you asked me, yes. And I did tell you many times kindly that I was not interested in you, but you never actually didn't take it. You didn't I mean, you didn't get it at all. Oh yeah, as if it never would, said David behind him. David, I did tell him that I was never interested in him, and you heard that. Yeah, so what? At least you're gonna give him a chance. No, I was never interested in Ben because I was only interested in girls. You know that now. And please, Ben, I understand you're mad at me that I never get you the attention that you wanted. But understand this. There are many beautiful girls here. Why don't you just have to focus on me? I mean, there are probably many of the cheerleaders you can probably try to be asking out. And David, your friend realized that you should know this. There are plenty of beautiful girls here, she said. And she was right. There are many beautiful girls that David or Ben could ask out. But no, he only wanted to keep asking Harper out, not anyone else. And she was getting a bit tired of that. Ben, since now you know I'm not interested in you, so please, let me be alone. I'm not gonna change my mind about Nova. That's it. And she turned around, closed her locker, and just walked away. And Ben said, in the distance, "Oh, you will regret this," he said, screaming angrily. But Harper didn't actually buy this. She thought maybe he was just angry and that was just another word of he was saying. But boy, she really would not understand that. Because ever since then, she started to have these notes appearing in her locker. And some of the notes did actually say that, "Watch your back. I will get you, no matter what, one way or another." But it was always handwritten. And at first, Harper didn't care about these notes at all. But somehow, she was convinced by Nova to keep them, just as evidence if something would escalate. At first, it was just only a couple of notes that appeared in her locker. But who could have been doing this? She thought. But no one actually had a good idea who this could have been. Ben or David. Based on how Ben's reaction when they walked away, well, when Harper walked away and had that he said that she will regret it. But if Harper believed that he won't be even that stupid, based on that he is a team player, especially the team leader of the school's soccer team, and he was very close that he could get a scholarship, or based on his good career of the soccer, and she was like, I don't think he's even that stupid that he wanted to jeopardize his scholarship application, she said. Well, I mean, it's possible. Have you even tried to get the direct answer from him? Said Noah. Do you really expect him to even be honest about he is the one who's behind this? Fair point, said Noah. But even so, we can't just go to the principal with these notes either, because if he would like, it's not like enough evidence. Well, what can we do? I mean, there's nothing else we can do, said Harper. It just continue hope that this just would stop eventually. But she was so wrong. It only continued. It wasn't like until after their second month's anniversary when the notes became more explicit threats. Now she was her heart. This notes was target not only her but Nova by name. This person said that they will take care of her and Nova in one way or another. Now both Nova was getting scared and Harper still didn't even believe that Ben could even go this far. But she started to believe maybe it was Ben. But there was nothing they could prove it. But unless that they could have something could compare the writings with on the notes from both David and Ben. Luckily though, somehow Nova managed to get some handwriting skill notes that were from both Ben and David and kept them. And when she and Harper were in Harper's home after school, they did tried compared the writings, and most of the notes were actually in Ben's handwriting as a match, and a few were in David's. Now they have it probably that as an evidence, but they didn't know when they were going to present this evidence to the principal. But we probably need some more concrete evidence, Harper said. Yeah, but what? Said Noah. Maybe a videotape, or maybe if they're on a video, or just audio, that recording that either of them had confessing to know this was actually behind this. But how would you even manage to pull that off? I mean, it's not like you can just stand there and have your phone and recording us. That actually gave me an idea, said Harper, and explained her plan to Nova. And the next day, Harper went to the school, and during the first long recess, she was looking for Ben, and she had her phone in her pocket with the camera focused outwards, and she pretended like there was just nothing in that. And when she talked to Ben, like first calmly, "Hey Ben, can I ask you something?" What is it, Harper?" he said, almost annoyed. "Please, I know you have a huge crush on me, okay? And if you had told me before that you were interested in me, maybe before all this, I may have possible that could have given you a chance." "Oh really? As if. I mean, you're probably a lesbian even way before then." "I mean, I was lesbian. Well, I realized I was a lesbian until like the last year of middle school." "Oh, wait, last year?" "Yeah. If you had asked me out maybe before then, I would definitely say I said yes." "Oh." It seems that both Harper and Ben went to the same middle school itself as well. "Well, I had to ask you this. Have you heard anyone has been sending me a threats or anything?" Heard about some people talk about it. Why?" "Well, some people have said that the only one they can think of who has been doing this is David." "David? Why would he even do that?" "I don't know. He's your best friend of all. I mean, can there be any explanation why? Unless that you've been telling him to do this in order to not being convinced that you've also been doing it. I mean, I'm not saying accusing you, but just saying based on what people have been saying." "David? Huh. Probably would do it, but I don't know. I mean, okay, assuming if you would have done it, how would you do it?" Well, I mean, assuming that I saying if I would, like, probably write in the notes and put them in your locker before anyone even notice," said Ben. "Well, I mean, okay, that would make sense. That you wouldn't have no witness that's going to tell me about it. Something like that, yes. But Ben, okay, you said in the hallway that you would do something that I will regret it, that I never want to be even go out with you. Despite that I said no multiple times, then why? Why would you say that? Was it just of anger, or was it something you're planning to do?" "Okay, you would give me my honest opinion?" "Yes." "Okay, I didn't say that because I was angry the most. I really want you to feel how I actually felt. So yes, I made those notes. And David said that he'd made a few himself also to make it. So you really wanted to threaten me and Nova?" "Well, yeah, why not? I mean, she's the one who's behind this." "Oh yeah, really? First of all, Ben, she had nothing to do with this from the start, okay? I was only have been a lesbian for 2 years, and you started harassing me because I end up being dating Nova, and I want nothing even want to be with you? Because you're what? The team player of the school soccer team? Really? Are you really that's crazy enough to even want to do that? Knowing how much, if you would even find out evidence against you, that this could have been eventually jeopardizing your chance to get a scholarship to that college you want to go to, especially that you couldn't be losing, being kicked out of the soccer team? Is it really worth it? She said. Well, no one would ever find out. Well, okay, fair enough. But Ben, please, stop threatening me and Nova, alright? Fine, but you've had to be quiet about this. Alright, she said and lied and just walked away. But Ben didn't know she had it recorded all the time. She went to find the principal's office right away, and she told him everything, and even showed him the notes that she had in her pocket and the video recording. He was stunned. He immediately called for Ben's parents, and only later that same afternoon, there was in the speakers, "Can Ben come to the principal's office, please? Attention, can Ben come to our principal's office, please?" And it didn't take long for people to realize afterwards, when some people actually saw that Ben had been escorted out of school with his parents, looking so freakily mad, and he was so ashamed. Turned out he was expelled from the school due to the fact his harassment of Nova and the threats. And Nova and Harper did actually apply for a search for a restraining order against Ben and David, who also began expelled. And the scholarship, well, he lost it, both of them. Finally, with that over, said Nova. Yeah, I mean, I cannot even imagine why even Ben wanted to threaten me of all. Yeah, said Harper, but at least that all of this is not to be taken care of. True. People actually been hearing exact same story, what happened. Just the day after what happened, when both David and Ben had been expelled. That was then when the whole school found out the whole truth. Everyone was really shocked, especially the rest of the soccer team players. They couldn't even believe how low their team captain would have even gone so far of threatening two girls because one of them rejected him so many times because she was never interested. They actually said to both Harper and Nova, how embarrassed they felt to have a team captain at this behavior. Even the coach and the principal apologized for both Harper and Nova, but they said it was something they really couldn't have known. It is true though, because David and Ben had been keeping this as a most secret, but now they both have been exposed what they've been keep doing. And when Harper's and Nova's parents was told by the principal the same day, because their parents had been called into school shortly after that Ben and David had been escorted out from school by their parents, they were stunned, and also that they were really surprised that they never mentioned this to their family. But the reason why Harper didn't mention to her parents because she didn't want to have them being worried. Her father, a former Marine soldier, he would have been going to protective mode, like he would have taken care of David and Ben by himself. And that was one thing that Harper didn't want to have to happen. Because first, she didn't want to see her father being arrested from harassing Ben and David for something that could have been proven was them. But now, they have been proved. But she told her father not to do anything has to escalate things, because now they have a restraining order against both David and Ben. And of course, last time they ever heard, Ben and David's families actually moved out of town after this. because this was a small town, and it didn't take long for the whole town to realize what Ben and David had been done. And both families felt so embarrassed and shamed what their sons had been doing. So they had to quit their jobs and sold the houses and move out. And it's understandable when having two boys the same age harassing two innocent girls was just unspeakable. And this was a topic in town for at least a few days after all this, for almost like 2 weeks. After that, it was like both Ben and David never existed. People didn't talk about them anymore. After all this, the relationship between Nova and Harper remained strong and solid. They continued to be dating, and now their families were happy. They were happy that they'd been seen that they are unharmed. Because who knows how far it is unclear how far Ben and David would have escalate their things to even too far. So, at least that had been taken care of. After that, both Harper and Nova finished high school. They went to a small community school in Hanover, and they decided to move to the town because of a medium-sized city, and it has more opportunities. And Harper, she wanted to be a teacher herself, so she went to a teacher school and other classes, and eventually became one. Nova, she wanted to be a nurse, and she actually became a nurse after she went to medical school. There was a lot of studies, but they were having each other's both backs and all this. And after they had both become what they wanted to be, they actually bought a small house in the suburbs in the city. And eventually, they even got married after being together for a number of years. And they wanted to have a family of their own. But since they didn't have anyone to be helping as much, so they decided to adopt. They adopted two daughters, twins. And only about 2 years later, they actually adopted a boy. And all of this happened in the past, which that's what Ben and David did, only brought Harper and Noah even more together, and their bond together was unbreakable. Both Harper and Noah could not even believe how far David and Ben could even do. But they were just happy and all that was taken care of. Ben and David was never ever seen or heard of ever again. And this is how Nova and Harper found a true love and got a big family together. The end.